What is up, everyone? My name is Mr. J, and today I'm bringing you a Digimon deck profile. We have Josh, Umblumb. He got 21st with Imperial and Nationals, and he's going to give us just a rundown on his list. I will have the links to his socials in the description below, but we're also live on Twitch right now, so he'll be in the Twitch chat. Josh, do you want to get us started with the deck profile?
Yeah, just give me one quick second. Okay, so eggs, 3-2 split of the Demi Vs. Rookies, 4 Searcher V, 4 Searcher Worm, and then promo Searcher Worm. So 9 end of turn rookies.
Cool.
3 promo V, 1 BT 16 Worm, 2 watermelons, and that's the rookies. 4 XV for BT12, 1 EX1 Jamming V XV, 3 BT Starred X Stingmon, and 3 BT12 Stingmon. And 1 Hydramon.
Okay, cool.
You know what's weird that we haven't had another Hydramon. This is still the only one.
I mean, we just got the other Flamedramon recently.
I think we're at 3 different Flamedramons, I think. If you're counting the red purple one.
Oh, you're right.
And then, of course, 4 BT16 Pyul, and then 3 Star Deck Pyul is level 5s.
Yeah, I definitely have some questions after you're done.
Yeah, ask him. I hope people come in chat and ask me questions. You got me for this time. Happy to help. 2 BT16 Dragon Mode, 2 Fighter Mode Ace, 2 Hex, and then 1 Paladin for the Megas. Well, he's second, but technically still Mega. But yeah, little light on the 6s there. But and then 1 Death X.
Yeah, I saw that in your list as well.
4 of those guys, 2 of those guys, 2 Scramble.
Okay, cool. Do you mind if you just like lay out the most of the cards on the board?
Yeah, I mean.
All right, I'm ready for the questions. Okay, first of all, I do want to say congrats because, man, you've been grinding it out with this deck, and I can tell that ever since I first met you, you've been on Imperial Digimon, so you've been really dedicated to the deck.
Yeah, my favorite deck of all time, BT4. I've been playing this since the fall of the Berlin Wall. This is my deck. Shout out to Dan Vang for getting me hooked on this one.
Putting you on the deck.
He's the best. But he says I am now. I don't really believe that, but his word's on that. Yeah.
So, I mean, I had some questions. Just looking at your list right away, because, I've seen the other recent, I think you got 7th place, was it?
I got 2nd Ultimate Cup.
2nd Ultimate Cup, okay. So, I think the big difference I saw right away is that in this one, you were including Madoki Betamons, right?
Yeah, the big difference was Madoki, the Scrambles, Death X. Yeah, those were the big changes.
So the Madoki Betamons, why change it? What's the inclusion of the Madokis for?
Mirage. It's solely for Mirage. It does do things in other matchups, like it did come up through my Nats run against like Purple Hybrid a little bit because it made them have to choose what they wanted to take out with mid-turn different colors and stuff. So it's slight usage against Purple Hybrid, but that's already a good matchup for me, so that wasn't the intention. It's mainly for Mirage. I found in my testing the only way to consistently really win against Mirage is if I had him out and Hex. That I grinded for months against Mirage. Shout out to Hyper Coliseum's Ben, Walter in Chicago, and Anthony in Florida for being my Mirage puppets and beating the shit out of me over and over and over and over and over and over for months. I was banging my head against the wall against, especially Mirage. So this was the only card that had any sort of consistent impact against it. It wasn't great because they could just bounce it back. But if they didn't have the GK or the Galga that could do that, it worked. And even if they did have it, if I still had Hex out, it worked. And so if I had both out and they had neither one of those cards and then went to burst, they had to make a decision between this or this. If I do this, they partition me out and I still have this to play the game on my turn. If they do this, I still have the Hex out and continue stonewalling from there. So these two put every Mirage player in a rock and a hard place, and it was the only consistent thing that I had in the deck that did something against Mirage.
Okay, great. Because I was gonna ask you for your matchups that day. Like, you know, usually when you're playtesting, you playtested this deck a lot. How many games Madoki Betamon closed out for you on that day?
So it's real hard. I guess during Nats, I only faced one Mirage, and it was a draw. And he did come up in that matchup. Again, he's a 2 of, and then Mirage does not like. I don't want to draw cards against Mirage. So the odds of me seeing this and this is really tough when I'm not drawing a lot of cards. So it did come up. It did lead me to a draw. I technically did not lose to Mirage that day. It's a factually true statement.
Okay.
But I did not beat a Mirage either. But again, didn't lose. So it came up. I'm happy I played it. If I were to redo it all over again, I still would keep it in there because no one expects the Imperial player to have Madoki Betamon.
Okay, and then you said the other change was the Death X and then the Blue Scrambles. Death X, what was the reason for putting one copy in the deck?
Because it's a tech against Angels. It's really, really good against Angels because using my guys here, I can select use Source Strip and then use the Death X to essentially wipe boards. I'm going to Digivolve you down to a 3 or a 4 and then wipe the entire board. And against Angels, I am free to draw as many cards as I want, so I can just draw into it. Every single deck, you know this, because you and I have been playing each other a long time. All my decks are based around draw power. I like to build starting with draw power, so I will simply draw my entire deck most games, and therefore I don't need multiple copies of these like level 7 power cards, because I can just draw into them, especially him, because I can just search him. But yeah, that was the reason for one. Also, his deck space is incredibly tight. I was either I had to take another melon for another Death X, and that just didn't seem like great because I needed this against Mirage, and I don't necessarily need this to beat Angels. It just really helps.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to ask if that was one of your harder matchups, and that's why you put the Death X in the deck.
Harder, yeah, harder. Not impossible though. It doesn't feel auto lose like Mirage did. One of my friends, shout out Nate, he also got top 32, got 31st. He was playing Angels, so he was my Angels tester for months. And I think overall I beat him more than he beat me in our testing sessions, but it was close. It was probably like a 55-45 split. But knowing that I can beat Angels, and let me check my matchup spreadsheet here. I played against 2 Angels, and I beat one of them. And that one I beat was Huang Zero. So that's a great player. And
oh, damn.
Yeah. And the other guy, the last 2 is Kevin. He also top 32. So.
Okay, and then you're not playing Primogenitor, and I'm assuming that's the scrambles over the Primo. Any comments on that?
Yeah, that's just a meta call. And this current meta for Bandai does anything. There's not much deletion going around, so that delay on Primo doesn't do anything. It just sits there. The matchups where it does do something, like Purple Hybrid maybe and Red Hybrid, it doesn't really matter because, like, again, Red Hybrid just wants to blitz you down, and so Primo kind of too slow, and then Purple Hybrid's already a favorable matchup, so I don't feel like I needed that there. And this card is bonkers because if I don't have a guy out, it's effectively a 5th tamer for me, and against Mirage specifically, if I have Davis out and I have this guy in trash, I have now made them waste their Mirage effect, and I get a whole free turn of playing normally because of the way the start of turn and memory funkiness works. So I would activate this, play out the V search, add to my hand. I lose 10 memory, who cares, whatever. And because it's still started my turn, Davis hasn't triggered. Davis whips it back to 3 on my end, and Mirage is used up. So I get to play normally for a turn. So,
wait, is that really how it works? That's crazy.
Yeah, because at start of turn, they're both start of turn, and your turn player, you can decide what order they go.
Yeah, the scrambles are so nutty because like I've seen so many weird interactions with the scrambles as soon as they came out.
Yeah, so another Mirage tech, and this guy I can also use to reduce Hex's evolution to make him a 3 cost effectively.
Yeah.
So very, very good. Very happy I didn't play Primo. Primo's an awesome card, but when you're in a meta without much deletion, that delay isn't really going to pop out unless you're going to ram something into another guy on your turn. But like I'm not playing Star Deck Dragon mode right now, and so I don't have a card that's worth even doing that for. So.
Okay, but in the future, would you think about putting Primogenerator back in if the meta changed?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. If we're heading into Gallant, right? The Gallant's gonna have a ton of deletion effects. That's a real good reason to run Primo again. I know. Yeah, I think Primo. It's will absolutely come back on my list. 100%. It's a great card.
Okay, good. And then the other question is, I noticed from your list is you're splitting the eggs here with the two, 3 draw and then 2 all K, all turns 1 KDP, right?
Yeah.
What was the reason for splitting the eggs that way? And yeah, I guess I just want to know your thoughts on that.
Mirage. It's all about Mirage, man. And I guess the mirror. This makes my Paildramons 9k instead of 8k. So in a mirror, I can run over their Paildramons if they don't have the ace, they don't have the ace. Or if I strip them down before the ace, doesn't even matter. And then this is for Mirage. It's not a draw, so I can make a non-draw stack and swing freely without losing my turn.
Okay. Speaking of which, because you mentioned the mirror, I might notice you're only playing 2 fighter mode, 2 dragon mode. When I was playtesting this deck for a while, because I'm not as competitive as you are, but I really liked fighter mode as a 3 of, and then dragon mode as well as a 3 of. What was your reasoning for putting 2-2? Did you ever feel like, I guess, you missed having a third copy of either one?
No, I've never ran 3 of the ace. I used to run the BT12 fighter mode as a third fighter mode, but I've never ever ran 3 ace. It's a great card. I just never felt like I needed 3 of them. And this guy is so unbelievably busted that you can't, you want to see him a lot, and he isn't searchable, yet this one is. And so 2-2 split, because if I need this, I can search through my deck a trillion times over to find him, and I can't do the same for him. So I have to draw into him or get him off Davis. So yeah, 2-2 split, because I don't want to see any one of them too much, and I don't want to see them too few. So usually I want to see these 2 combo together, but if I just see him, it's okay. But if I just see him and not the others, it's also okay, because he's that good. Yeah, that answer the question.
Okay, yeah. So for the MVPs that day, your megas, I'm assuming it was Hexablau.
Let's look at this again. Who was my MVP on Nats Day? Everything, my deck day 1 just was cracked. I just high rolled everything. I think to do well in any kind of these events is it's an invite only Nats. Everyone there is good. They earn their way. There's no bad players. But in order to top this event, you do have to high roll everything. The question is, what do you do with those cards after you high roll? And I think that's where the true skill comes out. So I am 100% comfortable saying I high rolled the day and got all the hands I needed, but I'm really proud of how I handled those hands and what I did with that luck. Let's see. Fighter mode was huge round 1. I don't know if you want me to just break down my matchups, but
oh yeah,
sure. Okay, round 1 was Magna. He was huge into Magna, really, really good. Hex came up in one of those games too, so both of them helped me with that. Round 2 was Gotcha Green, which is an old deck, and I can't believe I played against it. He went to the 5, the potato, the Jaggermon, whatever it's the potato guy, and I was like, "What? We're doing this?" Really nice guy, but I couldn't believe that's what we're doing. It's green, so this guy just says no green, and this guy says no green. So those 2 were huge. Round 3 was Purple Hybrid. Honestly, I don't remember. No, that was just I just Paildramon blitz it down there, and then Dragon Mode to suspend the Tamers and just shake my hand. I guess you can't play the games, your Tamers are suspended. Round 4 was draw Mirage. Hex came up, Ellen came up. Paildramon came up to keep letting them not unsuspend so they couldn't kill me. Just typical Imperial things besides this guy. Round 6 was Birds, like Phoenix.
Yeah.
Again, that's just a really good deck for me to handle because they try to be aggressive too. So I'm not really worried about the security, and I can blitz and draw and do all my things. So he came up. He came up because they play by effect a lot, and or take back by hand and then try to play by effect. So that was huge. Lock down their Tamer, which doesn't really matter, but unsuspends me, and then I can go to fighter mode. So these 2 are probably the MVPs there. I think Hex in game 2. I did Hex in game 2, and they couldn't suspend to attack, so that's kind of it. Round 7 was Angels. I just got sorry. We skipped round 5. Round 5 was Angels against Swang Zero, and I did that mostly with Paildramon, just keeping them suspended over and over and over again, not even attacking, just keeping them suspended. And eventually, that deck can't draw a lot of cards. That's their one weakness, and so they keep suspending them. they have nothing to attack with. They have no Luxmon to draw or anything, and they just run out of gas. Like, they're just going to sit there. They have no redirect. I strip out everything, and either I Death X to wipe the board, or they're out of cards in the hand. I don't have to worry about ace. I just swing away from there. So that was a good match. Wong was a great player. Round 7, again, Angels. I just got on that one. Like, I just didn't have it. Kevin's a great player, and I want to have a rematch with him soon, but I just got on that one. Round 8 was against Purple Hybrid, against the guy who eventually got third. He got third place in Nats. That was honestly the worst game mechanically I think I've ever played in my life. I played awful that game. I got really greedy because I like to draw cards, and around game 1, I went to Lydra over this one, and he had an Ukamon out with Demimera, and I just wanted to clear it because I wanted to draw another card. I had my health, everything was in my hand. I didn't need another card. I just like to draw. And so I swung over the Uko. He goes Demimera, discards Nidhogg, gain the memory past turn. And I was like, what the fuck? He's playing Nidhogg. He's playing 3 Nidhoggs.
Yeah.
And yeah. And then I was so rattled that happened to me that I forgot what Gazimon does. And I thought Gazimon was a not played by effect rookie instead of a not memory gain rookie. So I just stopped playing guys off my tamers. Again, I was just so rattled. This was round 8. I was tired as hell at this point. Like, I wasn't there and mentally. And so I lost in 3. Round 9, also Purple Hybrid. Before this round, I went to the bathroom, splashed water in my face, gave myself a pep talk in the mirror. I just need one more win here. Come on, we gotta get this. And then we took it home 2-1. I just had the nuts on my 2 wins. I just had it all. And yeah, finished 21st place. And yeah, I mean, in terms of single MVP, it probably was just Pile Drama, because all these decks that are Imperial's weakness, I can just turn them off basically for a turn. It's not like Ruin Mode where they can't play; they just can't spend. And so that buys me time. They can still play the game, set their tamers, play boost strings, whatever. They can do all that, but it gets me another turn because I guarantee it can't kill me. So yeah, probably just normal Pile Dramon. All these megas came up at different times, and so did the Melon. Scrambles was nuts the entire day. I love Scrambles. I have to find room for them going forward with the Primo. Probably a 2-2 split or a 2-1, somewhere around there. But yeah.
Oh yeah, man, that sounds like a long ass day.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a long day. I was so tired. I'm still tired.
Okay, and then so I think from seeing your list previously, you also usually like to play some kill spells, and I noticed you haven't been playing those in a while. Do you think it's gonna stay that way for a while, where you don't play any Megadeth or Gigadeath?
It just kind of depends on how long Angels is coming around. Because I ran Gigadeath for a long time, and Heaven's Judgment was one of the last cards I cut in testing. I was very close to playing Heaven's Judgment over Death X. That was a night before Nats cut that I switched Heaven's Judgment for Death X, which I was happy I did. But going forward, it just matters. It matters what Mirage and Angels are doing. Because if Angels is down a bit and Mirage gets hit, I will probably revert back to my Ultimate Cup list, which was more hyper aggro based around Primo and the Starter Deck Dragon mode, while still running the hexes. That was a 6 heavy deck, but it worked, and I could OTK with Primo and the Starter Deck Dragon mode. So it just kind of depends on what happens with those two. If those two are still going to be prevalent and Bandai doesn't do anything with them, I'm kind of stuck on this more tooly, defensive-ish build. I can still go aggro when I needed to. My preference is to be aggressive always. So I'd like to see a lot of decks hit, including this. I think my personal thing is every deck in the world should be hit, including mine. So it just depends on what they do. Right now, I'm not going to do any changes because nothing's changed in the meta. But as soon as I see something happen with the Angels and Mirage, and then I see what kind of Legion effects are running around for Primo purposes, there'll be changes. Yeah.
Okay, that is surprising you mentioned that, because that's actually one of my follow-up questions was, next restriction list update, there have been talks about the dual tamer getting hit. Do you think it would neuter the deck if the Daiken got limited to one? Okay. Yeah,
Bandai doesn't create lists that ruin decks. It's kind of similar to the old BT13 Marcus discussion. You're asking Bandai to completely eliminate the deck, and this is going to come out as a complete brag. It's not meant to, but this deck, Imperial as a whole, the past 3 events, so Nats and the past 2 Ultimate Cups, the most 3 recent events, have only had 2 Imperial tops. and they're both me, and I wasn't playing in one of those events. So it would feel like a fuck Umblumb specifically list, because this isn't a justified reason to do it. If you're going to do it, it should have been done a long time ago, because Imperial's not at that point anymore where it needs it. Like, if you're gonna straight up destroy, ruin, murder, kill the deck because one person is topping with it now, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, well, that's what, I can see how unfair the dual tamer is. I think if you hit the dual tamer to 1, for sure it probably kills the deck outright. I think it might be better to maybe limit the BT12 Sting and XV, and that would make it a little bit more fair.
Sure. Yeah. I think in terms of if you're gonna put you have to make a choice. Say something is getting restricted. What do you restrict? I would say Primo, which is funny because I'm not playing it currently, and these two. I think if you take this, the deck is dead. It's back to BT12 where it wasn't good. It wasn't playable. You can't do that after this deck was gone for years, and now this card brought it back, and you're gonna get rid of it, and now this deck doesn't function anymore. If you want it to still be function, there's plenty of other Stings. There's plenty of other XVs. You can do that. You can get rid of. You can hurt these two. The deck is still playable. It's not nearly as good, but it is 100% still playable. And that would be a much more fair hit. You can't do anything. It just ruins the entire deck.
Okay, cool. And then last question, because I think you only have about 2-ish minutes left. You're pretty competitive. Do you, if there are players out there trying to get into the competitive scene, do you have any tips?
You can run. I get this one all the time. You can run the Dragon mode heavy package using the BT16 and the Star deck Dragon modes with the fighter modes, and do the OTK thing with Primo. That's totally. I mean, I've done that. I that's a great strategy. But you got to know what your meta at your locals is. If there's a lot of hybrids running around at your meta at your locals, you need this card. It's mandatory to have if you have a lot of hybrids at your locals. If not, feel free to run the budget version with the Star deck Dragon modes. The rest of the deck is super duper cheap. You don't need to run Death X. Everything else is really really cheap. That's really about it. Just know your meta, and if you have hybrids running around, you need. And it sucks. This guy's super duper expensive right now. Even the super rare is $30. But other than that, and Paladron's expensive too. But you just gotta know what you're talking about with your meta. If you don't have hybrids running around, you can 100% run the Dragon mode heavy version with the Primo, and it's a great deck. It's a great deck still. Just this guy says no to all hybrid decks, and it's really strong.
Okay, cool. And then I think I'll close it out, and then afterwards, if you still have some time, probably not, right? Because you have 2-ish minutes.
Yeah, you can find me at on my Twitch channel. It's UMB Umblumb. I have the YouTube too. I did a Facebook post of the Ask Me Anything. You feel free to comment there. I'm always available to help whoever has any sort of Digimon question, especially with Imperial. It's been my deck for really almost 5 years now. So yeah, I love this deck. I'm very proud of how I did. I took my favorite deck of all time, the Nats, and I topped. There's nothing more you can say than that. I'm really proud of myself. I wish day 2 went a little differently. My round 1, a great player named Brad, who was playing 7 Demon Lords, and no XV game 1, no rookies at all game 2. So was not able to play either game of day 2, and it sucks, but can't be mad at anybody. It's just really bad RNG. I got super lucky day 1. I kind of deserve to get bad luck day 2.
No, I mean, other than that, man, congrats. It's a good run. Again, guys, his links to his socials will be in the description below. But again, thank you, Josh.
Of course, my pleasure. Thanks for having me on the stream. And whenever you want to run some games, let me know. I'm always here.
All right, yeah. I'll see y'all later. Thank you guys for watching.